So, what do you need to have on your resume to secure the job? Let's talk about it. I'm Erica. I'm a registered nurse. I'm the owner of Love Reigns Medical Training Center here in Gainesville, Florida. I've been in medical field my entire life, and one of the roles I was in was a resident care director, so pretty much a director of nursing in an ALF. In that role as a director, I did a hiring and a firing, all the things. Okay, so I also know pretty much what your resume should look like, and so let's talk about some things that can help you secure the job. Okay, I keep getting quite a few questions. I am now a nurse educator. I teach medical assistant, phlebotomy, CNA classes, med tech classes, CPR first aid. But a lot of questions that comes back to me often is why are they not calling me for the job? Why am I'm applying to all these places but they just not responding? So I've had quite a few people that have had issues with the way their resume was set up. So let's talk about some key things that you want to make sure is in place on your resume. It's important that you understand that when people are pulling resumes, they definitely are scanning those resumes. They're not taking their time going through and looking at every single line to see what you wrote on their resume. They're looking to see is what I need on this resume and does it stand out at me. That is what they're doing. They're not going to take their time and go look and find out that you are a medical assistant at the very bottom of the page. You've got to adjust your resume ASAP. So as soon as you grow your credentials, you need to update that. And it probably depends on what you're applying for, because some people have credentials in different areas. So if you're applying for two different roles, your credentials need to look differently on both resumes. But if you are just looking for a clinical medical assistant role, if you're looking for a CNA role, if you're looking for a phlebotomy role, you need to put things that's pertinent on the resume and it needs to stand out in bold print. And so, I had one young lady who reached out to me about her resume, and she is a pharmacy tech. And so in her role, she's a pharmacy tech in retail type stores. So now she's looking for a medical assistant role, but all of her experience is showing that she works in retail. Not that she works in retail for real, is that she works at Walmart pharmacy or CVS pharmacy. So all they're going to see is that it's retail. If I'm looking for a medical assistant or a phlebotomist, I don't want somebody that's coming from Walmart cashiering. That's the way it comes across. So you really have to take your time with those resumes. You can't just go plug in all kind of information, and you definitely can't just add in to what you already have. You're really going to have to adjust that resume to reflect what you're looking for. So you need that resume to stand out at a potential employer. So I have like zero time available to go through resumes if I'm a director. Okay, so I definitely don't have time to go look and see if you have the credentials somewhere buried in down deep into your resume. I'm looking for very up top, stand out, bold print, things that's going to catch my eye that says you have what I need. Because I don't have a lot of time and I'm going through resumes all day or briefly because I only got a short period of time and I need to find me some staff quick. And I'm not about to go dig and search through your resume to see if I can find out if you meet my credentials. So you got to really take your time with your resume. You got to put in time and make sure that what you want, what you're looking for, and also when you get your new certification, if you're a clinical medical assistant, I understand there are people who come into these roles brand new, don't have any experience, but you got to play out what you can play up. Okay, so if I know that I don't have any medical field experience, I need to play up my customer service skills, because clearly a medical assistant, one of her biggest roles is customer service, and a lot of the questions on the exam is geared toward customer service. So you just got to dig and think about what is it that I can sell myself on. I may not can sell myself on giving injections or doing EKGs, but I can definitely sell myself if I've been in any role, because every role requires customer service. So you need to put those things in there, list those skills. Those are things that they are looking for, which is very important skills, because everybody don't have customer service skills. So you just got to listen. It's not complicated. And so, I even thought about teaching a class on resumes one time, because I have so many people. And let me just tell you this. And this is not to be offensive to anybody, okay? I just want you to understand that these people are already, before you make it to the interview process, they've already, and this discrimination is what it is. We have to be realistic about that. So even they discriminate against certain people depending on your address, your name, all the things. So you definitely understand that the odds are already not in your favor depending on who you are and where you come from and what your background is. Okay, so you gotta already understand that everything else needs to be on 10, pretty much, right? You need to make sure that everything else looks amazing, because if somebody who look at you in your area that you live in, and they see you live in Southeast, and if you're in Gainesville, they may say, oh no, they live out east. We don't want that. Okay, unfortunately, that's realistic. This is what they do. They sit and they look at our resumes and they see our name, they see our address, and that is already a strike against us. So that means everything else needs to be 100% on point. So you want to make sure, and I just want to be clear about some things, and this is not to be offensive to anybody, but understand that these people are judging you before you walk in the door. I was in the role, and I remember hiring people, and then I would have to pass it on to the administrator, and they would be like, oh no, they're not appropriate. In my mind, I knew that I would take the person who walked in the door with jeans on, because that person probably would work their butt off for you and ride out the entire, the whole year with you. You can bring somebody in that has on a three-piece suit and a briefcase, and they're going to be gone in a week. But this is what they want. They want that appearance, and people know how to sell themselves in interviews. But what I need you to know is that there are things that they're going to look at us for. You should never come to an interview. And I'm just telling you that these are things that I see and things that I know. First thing is that I know that we love our eyelashes. I'm not trying to be, I'm from the culture. I get it. But we got to be aware that if I come in there with eyelashes that's coming out to here, they are going to, I'm just saying, that's probably not going to be in your favor, okay? Your nails. Y'all see my nails? I know I'm a director. I'm the owner of the business, but in real life, when I work, I couldn't wear nails like this. You got to be aware that if you're going to an interview, if I was going to an interview, I would never wear these nails to an interview, okay? So you just want to be aware of your nails, the length, the colors you're wearing. You need to even be wearing dark colors to interviews. It is recommended that you should be wearing black or blue, dark tone colors to interview. You shouldn't be wearing all kind of bright colors. You should be you should not be ever wear jeans. I found out in that role really quickly that you should not wear jeans to an interview. Unfortunately, some people, that may be all they have left to wear. They brought their last piece of clothing they had to this interview. But they are going to look at you sideways if you come in there with jeans on for the interview. They are even saying you shouldn't even really come in scrubs. I've been on interviews with scrubs, and most people are okay. But on occasion, I hear people say that you shouldn't wear scrubs to the interview. You should wear nice slacks, pants, button-down shirt. These are the things that are going to help you stand out. Just keep in mind, yes, you can come into the interview with, depending on what you want to wear. I've seen a lot of people come in interviews, and unfortunately, they really should not have come to an interview. And I think a lot of people just don't even really know. That's why I'm not ever the person to judge, okay? I tell people, even in my classes, I post videos about students in my class, and they'll, have people say, oh, she had on a bonnet cap in the video. I'm not a person who is judgmental and discriminatory. These people don't have a lot. Some people are trying to these are entrance courses. Entrance courses get you into your entrance job. So most people don't have a lot, and they're just trying to get on their feet. So I don't require scrubs and coming in a certain color and all the things. You come in for my course for 2 days, so I don't go say, oh, you need to wear this and that. No, this is a 2-day quick course to help you get employed. Most people barely even made the money to pay for the course. So no, I'm not a person that's going to sit up and make sure you go buy scrubs and you got to have on this and that. We're trying to just get the course paid for and get your exam paid for, so you can get to your next level. Okay, that's the goal. So that's me, but that's not corporate America. Okay, so corporate America requires all these certain things, and so I'm just here to tell you that you need to be making sure you are dressed appropriately when you go into these interviews. Don't overtalk those people when you're in those interviews. Okay, first thing, we got to get the resume perfect first. So you want to get your resume together, because that's what's going to get you to the door. The resume has to stand out. That's what's going to get you to the door. Once you get to the door, you got to sell yourself in an interview. I've never been on a job. I never interviewed for a job I never got, because I know how to interview and I know what they want and I know how to prepare. You really got to prepare. You don't want to go to an interview and not have a question or two for these people. They're going to think you just looking for a job anywhere. You can't walk into a job and they say, well, do you have any questions? Oh, no, I don't have. You don't have not one question for a company that you want to maybe retire from one day. You don't want to know what their benefits are. You don't want to know what your holiday vacation is. You don't want to know what's your potential growth on this job. Those are things that they want you to ask, because they thinking now you just applying for a job anywhere. So come prepared. Make sure you ask questions. At least you don't have to ask a lot. Just make sure you prepare. 2 questions at least to ask these people when you go to this interview, at least one. Don't say I don't have no questions, okay? Because you're going to look crazy to them when you walk out the door. So making sure you come dressed. You need on dark tone colored clothes. You want your hair pulled back. You want to make sure that you're not over talking to people. That's one thing I had to learn, because those who know me know I can definitely talk. So I had to learn not to over talk these people. Yes, we want you to engage and smile. They want to see your personality. Don't sit there like you a mummy and not move or smile, because they definitely want to know what your personality is. So you got to laugh and communicate and engage, right? But just don't overdo it. Don't go in there talking more too much and ask it like we're best friends. You just got to answer the questions. Whatever they ask you, you answer the question back, and you just a little bit engaged. Don't do too much, and get in and out that interview well, but stand out, because what you know is that there's 10 other people interviewing for that same role, and what's going to make them hire you, okay? So what's going to make you stand out? That's what your goal of the day is. When you go to that interview, before time, be prepared. Know a little bit about that company. Know a little bit about how the company was founded. Know a little bit about what their motto is. That's impressive to people. They're going to be like, oh my goodness, they did some homework. They are really looking at we working here. They're looking at a place where they want to retire. They want to grow in this company. It feels personal for them. So you want to prepare, even if you don't care one bit. I need you to go and do all this stuff. When you go in there, I need you to be different, stand out from the person that's coming in the interview behind you. What is going to make you stand out in that interview? So I hope this is some things that will help you think about your next, job, and what you can do to get to that next level. Make sure your resume is on point. Your resume has to stand out. It has to be pertinent. I can't be looking for whatever the role is I need at the bottom of your resume. I need you to put down the date that you took your course in when you graduated. You definitely need to make sure that stands out, because especially if you don't have any medical field experience, you got to put something and make them see why I want you, even though, because for me personally, I would rather somebody with no experience, because I can train them the way I want them to be. But there are people who do want all these years experience or something that stands out. So you got to sell what you can sell of yourself, okay? So hopefully this helps somebody. If there's any questions, listen below. But I just want to come in and talk about resumes and how to get the job, how to get from the resume to the door. And once you get to the door, how you get the job. Hopefully this helps you. If you have any questions, listen below. I am always open to talk to you. And again, I'm Erica, the owner of Love Reigns Medical Training Center over in Thornbrook Village. And I offer medical assistant, phlebotomy courses, 2-day prep courses. Exams are included with the phlebotomy and the medical assistant. And the CNA, I do not offer the exam there, but I am going to prepare you for the CNA exam. The MedTech, I will certify you the same day. And CPR First Aid, you will get certified the same day. So yes, check me out on my website. I will list it on the screen. And again, if you have any questions, just please list them below. I'll talk to y'all soon.